Lam Kwok 1, May 22, 1955, formerly known as Lam Kwok Yu, also known as Lam Yu Kyung, is a Hong Kong serial killer known as the Rainy Night Butcher. When committing crimes, Lam worked as a taxi driver on night duty, picking up his targets and then killing them. He later performed autopsies in his residence, dismembered the bodies, and took out the deceased's sexual organs to make specimens. He also took photos and videos of the process as a souvenir. He also raped the fourth victim's corpse. February 3, Chan Fung Lan 22 nightclub Mom Chan Fung Lan drank with friends after work at 4 a.m. and took a taxi driven by the defendant in Sim Sha Sui. Lam Kwok 1 drove the drunk Chan Fung Lan to her destination, Koon Tong, and then drove her back to the downstairs of her residence in To Kwa Wan. After returning home to get the power cord, he strangled the drunk Chan Fung Lan in the car and took the body home and hid it under the sofa in the living room. The next day, after everyone in the house went out, Lam stripped the body of the body and took photos of it. Lin took out 500 yuan from Chen Fenglan's wallet, bought an electric saw on the street, and then dismembered Chen Fenglan into 7 pieces. The process was recorded in the videotape, Serious Secret. The sexual organs were placed in a plastic box with rice wine for preservation. And then the limbs were wrapped in newspapers and put into a plastic bag. That night, when he was working, he abandoned the limbs in the grass on a hillside in Fo Tan. The limbs were then washed into the Xingmen River by heavy rain and floated to the area between Good Luck Center and Regal Garden. Her father identified the body based on the tattoo pattern on her arm. May 29, Chan Wan Kit 31 cashier at a recreation center. Chan Wan Kit got off work at 5:20 a.m. and took Lam Kwok 1's taxi home in the heavy rain. Lam Kwok 1 stopped the car on the way and threatened Chan Wan Kit with a knife, then handcuffed Chan Wan Kit and strangled the victim with an electric wire. This time Lam Kwok 1 used a surgical scalpel to dismember the victim and cut off the victim's breasts and entire genitals for embalming. The rest of the body was wrapped in newspaper and put into a sack. The body parts were placed in the trunk of a taxi and abandoned on the hillside of Tai Hang Road at night. The dismemberment was recorded in the video, Serious Secrets. June 17, Leong Sao Wan 29-year-old nightclub waitress Leong Sao Wan got off work at 4 a.m. and took a taxi driven by Lam Kwok 1. She was killed shortly afterwards. Lam took the body home and took photos and videotaped the dismemberment. The videotape was titled, Rainy Night Action. To facilitate his work, Lam Kwok 1 placed a video camera on the bunk bed and used the selfie function to record his actions. Since he did not need to operate the camera, Lam Kwok 1's dismemberment work was more careful than the previous 2 times. He even cut open the abdomen of the deceased, picked out the intestines, and put them in his mouth to taste. Lam Kwok 1 originally had the urge to taste human flesh, but finally gave up because he felt disgusted. The body parts were abandoned in Tai Hang Road. July 2, Leong Y. Sum 17 St. Francis Xavier's College Form 5 candidate Leong Y. Sum attended the Teacher Appreciation Banquet at the Sheraton Hotel in Sim Sha Sui. At 11 p.m. she took a taxi outside the hotel to return to her apartment in Valley Road Estate in Hung Hom. Since then, she has been missing and has not been heard from since. Her family called her classmates who attended the banquet and searched near the hotel, but to no avail. They then called the police for help. The police notified all patrol officers and hospitals in Hong Kong of the missing persons information and issued a missing person notice and photos on August 5 to appeal to the public to provide information, but there was still no result. Her school also said that she was not seen on the day of the results announcement. It was not until August 17 that the police arrested Lam Kun Wan and found Leung's belongings and some organs in her home, and then they knew that she had been killed. Lam Kwok Wan said that he handcuffed Leung Wai Sum's hands, talked to her in a taxi about school, future, family, religion, soul and other topics, then strangled her with an electric wire. He took the body home, raped it and dismembered it. The process was recorded in the Fourth Action video, and the remains were buried in Tai Hang Tunnel. High Court trial and sentencing on March 3, 1983. The case was heard by Attorney General Faber. A large number of citizens gathered outside the High Court to watch. At the request of the defense lawyer, all 7 jurors were male. In order to avoid shocking the audience, except for the presiding judge, clerk, court guard, defendant, juror and lawyers for both parties, everyone else had to leave the court when the videotape shot by Lam Kwok Wan was played. And the prosecution did not have to present the organs of the deceased in court. Police officers, hairdryer staff, forensic officers, scientific forensic personnel and Lam Kwok Wan's family were summoned to testify in court. Lam Kwok Wan was a night shift taxi driver when he committed the crime. He killed 4 women between February and July 1983, and all the crimes were committed on rainy days. Lam Kwok Wan would drive the victims to a secluded place and then strangle them to death. He would then transport the victims to his residence in On Hing Building, Kwai Chow Street, to Kwa Wan. Dismember the bodies, photograph the remains, and then make specimens of the sexual organs of the bodies. The 4th victim was even raped by him. He would discard the rest of the bodies of the victims in the Xingmen River and the hillside of Tai Hang Road. Lam Kwok Wan recorded the dismemberment process, and the dismemberment process of the first 2 victims was included in a videotape titled Serious Secrets. The videotape of the 3rd victim was titled Rainy Night Action, and it even captured him cutting open the victim's abdomen, taking out the intestines, and tasting them in his mouth. The videotape of the 4th victim was titled The Fourth Action. He claimed that he was a part-time photographer in the morgue, and later because of a mechanical failure in the photo studio, he had to transfer the work to other branches of the same organization for assistance, which aroused the suspicion of other staff and called the police. At that time, he said in court that he killed the first woman because she was a prostitute and he was just enforcing justice. He killed the 2nd and 3rd victims because he was addicted. When he killed the 4th victim, he felt bored and didn't know why he wanted to kill her. Lam was eventually convicted of murder and sentenced to death under the laws of the time. But this was later commuted to life imprisonment.